Welcome back to Quickie Wiki What. I'm Joseph, joined as usual by my partner Justin. Every episode, we each bring to the table a Wikipedia article or two we found interesting and attempt to explain our articles to one another. We are streaming this episode live on Twitch. Hello to the chat.
Hey, chat.
But you'll also be able to find the VOD on YouTube afterwards, as well as the audio wherever you get your podcasts. Hello, Justin.
Hello.
Did you see I added a Wikipedia article or two?
Well, there's a few. There's a few today, but it's really... You say your topic first, and then I'll...
Mine is Dancing Mania. It is also known as the Dancing Plague. Mine will come after Justin's this week. He's going first. But it's a phenomenon that occurred, seemingly contagious dancing in 14th through 17th centuries, mainly in Europe.
Wow. Including Poland?
Did Poland exist back then?
I don't know.
I'm having to do a lot of in modern day because I don't know any of these places. Yeah. They don't exist anymore.
But because I was going to ask if you had any show news.
Oh, I just got an email.
Oh,
yeah, literally right before we started.
Hot off the presses. I haven't even heard it.
It says, Quickie Wiki What is ranking very well in Finland, is the subject.
Wow.
Finland's been our highest charting so far. We've reached 100 in society and culture.
Wow.
Finland,
okay.
Let me tell you about Finland. They know culture when they hear it.
They do.
They know society and they know culture. And then it lists some of the things we already knew. South Korea, Hong Kong, and South Africa.
Wow. What's that from?
What's this email from?
Yeah.
It's one of those podcast stat sites. They're trying to get you to sign up by telling you your stats.
Well, hey,
it's working.
Sign up.
Keep sending the emails. I'll eventually make an account.
Okay.
Do you have any news?
No, just want to say thanks to everyone that's been people checking out the older episodes, and so we're doing these not in any particular, evergreen content, You ever interested in a...
Buzzwords, evergreen, educational, history.
Yeah.
Hashtag science.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you want... Okay, so when I told Justin about my topic today, though, you asked if it had to do with...
Epilepsy.
No, Justin.
Dobbin.
Justin asked if it had to do with... He asked if it had to do with dabbing. He meant dabbing.
Dabbing.
Mm-hmm. But...
Hot dab.
A little dabble do ya. Okay. Do you want to...
So mine is...
take it away.
I was saying, this is really evergreen podcast content, And, but it just so happens that this next week is going to be Friday the 13th.
This week?
This Friday, yeah.
This Friday
is Friday the 13th. And so I went on and I was like, I'm going to do it on Friday the 13th because that'll be kind of fun. And I'm curious about why did it become, we're super superstitious or anything like that. Super superstitious.
We're not even
just
a little
superstitious.
I'm not even, well, when we first started dating, I wouldn't split the pole.
We wouldn't split the pole.
Which sounds like something else, but it's when you're walking down the street together and there's a light pole or a sign or something, you both go around it on the same side.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't bother me if we did split the pole.
But you told me not to ever do it.
I said, don't you dare
split the pole. And it was a thing for a while where we would, and it was kind of a gesture.
It was jokey.
It was a jokey gesture, and I would go out of my way, and both of us would go out of our way to not split the pole. And then I think after you moved in, it's kind of we can just split the pole.
We can split the pole.
We can split the pole.
We've made it this far.
After we got Piggy, we can split the pole.
We can split the pole.
But so superstition though. Friday the 13th, I went and looked up the Wikipedia article, Friday the 13th. It's a little underwhelming,
Is it short?
It was real short. Yeah, it was just kind of it's kind of a superstition in some places. And I was like, but that doesn't get you to the meat of it. There's got to be more to it. And so what I did, I looked up independently. I'm like, okay, well, let's look up Friday. because they say in the article, they're like, oh, Friday's a little bit superstitious and the number 13. So when it comes together, then it's Friday the 13th. But it's like they don't go into the details of each of those subcategories. So that's what I'm here for.
Oh, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I don't honestly know. I do know that you've had several Friday the 13th birthdays in your life.
You're
a 13th baby.
August the 13th.
And so you were saying yesterday you think you've had at least 3 or 4 in your life.
Yeah. I turned 21 on Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Spook. Anything bad happen?
No. I was actually, it was kind of it was a Friday the 13th, but I like didn't have any, I was like at home because it's really in August. All of my friends were like, some of them were in college. Some of them were back home still. Everyone was just kind of spread out all over the place, and people like moved that week. So it really wasn't a big to do. But then my friends eventually, and I kind of gave them shit about it for years. And then eventually, like my senior year in college, they threw me a surprise 21st birthday party in like April, even though my birthday's in August.
Well, I'm so sad that you just had so many friends.
I know.
You just had so many friends.
That's a burden.
You couldn't get them all together.
A burden's burden.
All right, tell me about Fridays and tell me about 13th.
Well, have you had any unlucky?
I thought you were going to ask if I had Friday the 13th birthdays.
No.
I was born on the 27th. No, I mean, when I was younger, I broke a lot of mirrors. Just like I was always breaking a mirror, which is supposed to be 7 years bad luck.
Yeah.
And I did have really bad luck up until I was about 28. But I also made bad decisions until I was about 28. So I think that doesn't really coincide with anything. I just dropped a lot of mirrors.
Yeah.
So no recordable bad luck.
Haven't broke a mirror since you moved in with me. I remember.
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
But I did have the one I always go to the dentist on Fridays, and it was on Friday the 13th once. And I was going in just to get just a regular cleaning. And then on accident, they accidentally cut my penis off.
Well, you can put it in that jar next to who?
Next
FDR's?
to Teddy Roosevelt.
How long were you waiting to make this joke?
This was like...
Why are these your jokes? Why is this the joke?
I don't know. It was just to catch people off guard.
Okay.
We haven't talked about
they're listening.
We haven't talked about dismembered penises in a few episodes.
This one wasn't ran past me. This one was...
It was not. This was my surprise.
One didn't reach my desk. Okay.
So, Friday the 13th, just in general. So it happens. It has to happen at least once a year, and it can happen up to 3 times a year. So
okay.
Just the frequency of them. So you get one every year, whether you want it or not. And so, yeah, they said, Friday has been unlucky, and the number 13 has always been unlucky. But it wasn't until like the 19th century that they really put it together, and it became like a thing. Friday the 13th, at least. The first reference that I could find, and it's consistent with what Wikipedia said about the 19th century being, is this composer died. Gioacchino Rossini. He wrote The Barber of Seville.
My favorite pasta.
Oh, yeah. You got that at Olive Garden,
say it again.
Right? Gioacchino Rossini.
Beautiful.
Yes.
What?
The Bella Lingua.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But his biographer wrote, he regarded Fridays as an unlucky day. Oh, he died on Friday the 13th.
Okay.
He regarded Fridays as an unlucky day and 13 as an unlucky number. It's remarkable that one Friday the 13th of November, he died.
So it all goes back to this one guy.
The composer, the Barber of Seville guy. But predating that, obviously, lots of people have thought it unlucky. And so it just, I guess, became growing in popularity.
Is it more of like a Western culture thing, did you determine? Because I know like in different cultures, they have different numbers that they avoid. Like don't have those floors on.
Yeah. So to answer your first question, yeah, it is definitely kind of a Western thing. And there's some places that 13 is like a lucky number. And there's some like numerical qualities.
Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Isn't that her favorite number?
Maybe.
13. And I think she used to write it on her arm before concerts.
Wow.
I have no idea if that's true. I just think I think that's the case.
Interesting.
Allegedly.
Don't
come
we gotta
for
get
me.
the allegedly. So there are people that have actual phobia of the number 13. That is called, it's a Triskadekaphobia. Triskadekaphobia.
Oh.
So people, and that's a part of the reason, like you mentioned, they leave the number 13 off of floors.
Do they still do that?
Sometimes, like they showed a picture of it on Wikipedia. I don't know that it's as common as it used to be, but that used to be kind of a thing. But dating way, way back, it's like, why is the number 13 in general so unlucky? So it goes back to like Norse mythology.
Oh,
and
wow.
there were like 12 gods that were getting together to have dinner. And they were the invited guests. And then Loki shows up. We all know Loki from Thor. But Loki shows up and he tricks one of them into killing the other one.
He tricks who into killing who?
One of the gods.
Just some
he kicks
random.
him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so then ever since then, it's been like, okay, the 13th guest is like an unlucky, unwanted person.
How do you trick someone into killing someone?
I don't know. That's Loki. He's a trickster.
Classic Loki.
Classic Loki. Yeah.
Wow. So that's like where they've traced it to.
That's one of the earlier ones. And then, Jesus and the Last Supper, there had 13 people there because it's the 12 apostles plus Jesus.
Okay.
Then there's also like astronomically, they used to have lunar months, right? So it's like January, February. Well, I might do one on calendars. But basically, on most years, there's 12 full moons in a year. But every now and again, and it's like 30% of the time, it's a high number, but there's 13 full moons. And that kind of messed with the calendar, with the year. So the number 13 in that regard was kind of unlucky. And then just like, I think because it's so close to 12, like 12 is considered like a nice number. You can divide it by 3, by 4, by 2. It's got all kinds of properties of stuff. And so having that 13th just kind of disrupts. It's like 12 is a very cool, orderly number. And then 13 is kind of like, you messed up the 12.
Do you have a favorite number?
I don't know. I like, I've always liked like 5 and 13.
Because of your birthday?
Yeah. Fibonacci numbers.
Oh, you're really into You should do is it Fibonacci?
Fibonacci, I think. I don't know.
You should do one on that one week.
Maybe. And, well, I know
snail?
when I'll do it. The spiral.
Snail?
The golden spiral.
The snail, yeah.
The golden snail spiral. Okay, so that's kind of like some of the number 13. That's where it's kind of the unluckiness of 13 comes from.
It's just got bad vibes.
Yeah.
We need good vibes only, and it's bad vibes.
Yeah. So like, 13. So Friday, I guess, I remember this, but I don't remember the source or whatever. But they said Fridays in like maritime and like sailing has always been there. You're not supposed to go set sail on Fridays or something like that. I don't know. It was just one of those things that was really briefly alluded to, but that'll be important in a minute. I
love Fridays. I always thought it was weird that it was Friday the 13th because I would hate Monday the 13th.
Exactly.
That sounds rotten. Or even Wednesday.
That's the spiel I forgot to do at the beginning.
Oh.
It's like, well, what's so bad about Friday? I mean, I can see the 13th.
What's the deal with Friday the 13th?
I know.
What's the deal with airline food?
Man.
Those are the things.
But so Friday, it's like, to me, that's a good day. Friday is one of my favorite days of the week. And you got to go and ruin it by making it unlucky, supposedly.
Sure.
Give it to another day. Tuesday.
So are there any other reasons other than just old superstitions for sailors that?
Well, you know who died on a Friday?
Wait, don't tell me. I can get it. I just heard. Did you hear?
What?
I just heard. No, that's what you do when you're telling someone's bad news. I just heard. Voldemort. Yeah. Voldemort died on a Friday?
Yeah.
I was trying to think of other. FDR?
No.
JFK. Jesus. I know you're getting to Jesus.
I was going to say Selena.
Did she die on a Friday?
Yes.
Oh, that hurts me even more.
Yeah.
That hurts me the most. I just heard.
Selena. That's one of the term Black Friday comes up a lot.
Because it's a sad day?
Because it's a sad day.
Funeral day.
Yeah. It's like in mourning. And so like Selena, Jesus, obviously, but then like back in lots of things have happened. And there's just been, it's kind of like one of those things. It's like somebody's one time, oh, that happened on a Friday. Oh, so this happened on a Friday too.
Oh, kind of like the 27 Club, where all of these musical artists have died at the age of 27.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, there are several of them, but there's a lot of people who just die when they're 26, 22,
60,
34, 60,
90.
70. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's similar.
Yeah. So other bad things that happened. So dating all the way back to what was cited. These are the list of like Black Fridays. That is an article in Wikipedia to kind of like support
a list of the bad ones.
Yes.
Okay.
So that are called Black Friday. So 1688, imprisonment of 7 bishops in England.
What's so bad about that?
It was a bad thing that people didn't like.
I said we turn these into positives. Well, now that I say that, you're going to do one that's really tragic, aren't you? And I'm not going to be able to turn it into a positive. All right, continue.
Well, you might like this. The stock market crash in Europe. So the 1929, the Great Depression one.
And that's sad.
That was, so it happened in Thursday in the United States, but then it was called Black Friday in 1929 in Europe, because in 1989 there was a stock market crash in the United States, and that's the United States Black Friday stock market.
Oh.
Other tragic events. JFK was shot on a Friday.
Well, then I was right. I said JFK.
No, but not Friday the 13th.
Oh.
So, but he died on a Friday.
Jesus, you just said what happened on a Friday. You didn't, because how do you know Jesus died on Friday the 13th?
I didn't.
That's who you were getting at, though.
No, that's who. Selena didn't die on Friday the 13th.
Oh.
These are just people that died on Friday.
On Fridays, right.
So
right,
far.
Right.
And then, but those are some of like the major sad, tragic things that have happened on Fridays that support the idea that Friday is like a particularly unlucky day, but not necessarily the 13th.
Okay.
Now, well, go ahead. Do you want to say something?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm ready to hear this twist that you've...
No, this isn't really a twist, but this part is now, we crossed the line. This part is Friday the 13th.
The movie?
No, that has happened.
Oh.
On actual Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Before
happened.
I was talking about 13s.
And Fridays.
And then Fridays. But not Friday the 13th. Now they converge.
All right.
To
Do
the
tell.
Terriblest things that have happened in culture.
I'm excited to know.
Okay. So this is just I would say some of them are quirky, some of them are kind of actually sad.
Okay.
Things. Okay, here's maybe something that's more...
Yeah, take
more
notes,
quirky.
chat. Y'all take notes.
All right, back in 1829. This was before Friday the 13th was considered like unlucky.
Okay.
There was this guy named Sam Patch. 1829. He was known as the Yankee Leaper. He was like
I feel like I've read about this.
He's
Is
like
this England?
No, it's the United States.
Oh, okay.
So, but he is like, would jump off of waterfalls, would do all kinds of crowd-pleasing stunts.
Oh.
And things like, so he was one of like the first noted, famous, like popular daredevil types. And he would do it and he would raise money and do all kinds of stuff. He had, they don't know if it was at not Niagara Falls, but someplace up around there, some waterfall. What he would do, he jumped off of Niagara Falls once, or not all the way off the top, but somewhere like on one of the lower landings.
I'm sorry, that doesn't count.
But so he built this like ladder that like sticks out, and he jumps, and like, you know, if you jump and your feet like hit in a spike, then you just plummet into the water. But if you like, you know, like if you point your toes and you know, if you ever like fall out of a high place, you want to go in like a nail straight into the water.
Oh, okay.
You don't want to slap down like a pancake.
Right.
So, but they think he either fell or he like did something and he smacked into the water. They thought at one point it was just a joke, but then they found him like in a frozen block of ice, like
a cartoon character?
Well, not like a perfect cube, not like an ice cube, but they found him an ice.
I've seen that episode of Looney Tunes.
Yeah. But then they just thawed him out and what they did is they drilled a straw in to the block and poured some hot tea, and then his eyes got red, and then he got, ooh,
just like on Looney Tunes.
Yeah. So
it's been, how many years ago was that?
That was 1829.
Okay, so enough time has passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not too soon.
Continue.
Here's one that was a little sooner, but still almost 100 years ago. 1930.
Okay.
Sir Henry Seagrave. So he died setting the water speed record.
I know about this one.
Yeah.
I watched a thing on it.
Well, I think we were both watching it. Yeah, on History Channel or
PBS
YouTube.
or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So he on a boat going real fast, and then sadly, and I'd forgotten this part, but he like does a practice run and actually sets the record there, but doesn't know about it. And then he turns around, goes back, and this time he thinks he's going to actually set the record. He does set the record, but then he like hits a log or something, and then it flips, and someone that was there died instantly, but then he like survived long enough to make it to the hospital, and he found out that he actually like broke the record. And so this is getting back to like this,
and that was Friday the 13th.
That was on a Friday the 13th, which is like going back to like the sailors don't set sail on a Friday.
Maybe just don't do stunts. Maybe just don't do daredevil stuff.
And
I don't know.
Sam Patch at the waterfall.
What's wrong with sitting at home? This makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing on the weekends. You know,
no,
this is kind of validating.
Sir Henry Seagrave.
Oh no!
Yes, that should have been a clue right there. Like, watch it. Your name's trying to tell you something. All right, this is one that's probably not as like funny, but the well,
yeah, I really
funny.
got some yucks out of the past two. I was really chuckling.
No, but these are sad things. People wouldn't be like, "Oh, Joey slipped on a banana peel," and
I don't think we expected a fun time happy list of Friday the 13th events. So continue.
Well, the Andes flight, in 1972, where they crash in the mountain, the soccer team, I think, or something like that. They crash in the mountains, and then some of them survive and go to cannibalism.
Oh, I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, so that was the thing. I don't remember the detail. 1972. It was a plane crash.
That was before I was born. That was before you were born.
Yeah.
No, nothing happened before then.
But still,
Yeah, that's creepy. I don't like hearing stories of like survival stories are just not fun. Like the person who crash landed in like the Amazon or something, and then she had to like survive in the jungle for X amount of days and with like maggots eating her leg until she got to civilization.
Yeah.
I just think it's a little much.
Yeah, that I like who was it? Germans in Color says, someone make a wiki of good things that happened on Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because there's got to be equally.
Birthday party.
People are only recording the bad ones.
Yeah. So the last one, this was 1992, Tupac. Supposedly died.
Oh, because he's still alive.
I think, yeah. I mean, you believe that sort of thing.
That's what they say.
That's what
I've heard.
Yeah. But
is that the latest one?
That was the latest one that I thought. Well, I don't remember if there was things listed after that. It wasn't like the comprehensive list. There's a list of like, 30 things. But like the bishop thing, the only thing I wrote it's because it's the earliest one.
Okay.
It's not because it was particularly interesting.
Yeah.
So back to 1688 is how long people have thought Fridays are kind of unlucky.
Because of the bishops who went to prison? Did you ever find out what they went to prison for?
I think that they like did something with like some mattress fraud. They were selling mattresses without a license.
Real.
No, I don't know what they did.
Okay.
It was part of a political scandal where they like imprisoned them and the king was trying to do something and it's a power grab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite Friday the 13th? They just need to start writing down the good things.
Well, yeah. And I didn't go into the movies because that would be a whole other...
the movie Friday the 13th.
I mean, there's been... I don't remember how many. I've only seen like bits and pieces of... And I think I've seen one or two of many of them. But at one point, they when they started, they were like genuinely scary. And then they eventually turned into like campy.
Jason in Space.
Well, even, like Jason in Manhattan is one I remember where I maybe saw that one and it's kind of like not something that was intended to be that scary.
Well, maybe I'll watch them someday.
I probably won't.
That's fine.
Yeah. We'll watch it way after we finish Pirates.
Our Flag Means Death.
Death.
Chad has told us that we have to watch, at least try to watch, Our Flag Means Death. I don't like pirates. Pirates are on my list. So,
really?
Well, I don't like boats. I don't like stories that take place on boats. I'm against boats. I just don't think they need to exist. I don't know why you need to be floating on the water.
Just to go somewhere.
You don't need to be in it. You don't need to be on it. I just don't believe in it.
Environmental friendly. It's environmentally friendly.
Well, that is true, but where do you shower? Where do you poop?
A whole ocean.
I don't want to do that. Oh, someone said the third episode is the funniest. Okay, I'll stick around till the third episode at the least.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to know this information about Friday the 13th.
No, so now you can go tell everybody.
It started with the Norse. It kicked off with the bishops. And it ended with Tupac.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, that's right.
I suggest writing down the good things that have happened on Friday the 13th and making an article about that.
Yeah.
Well, here's something that happened that's not good either. Are you ready to hear about Dancing Mania?
Dancing Mania! I totally am.
I don't know if any of this happened on Friday the 13th. I found this article on Wikipedia a while ago. It was kind of been in the backlog, but I was like, I think it's the time. So Dancing Mania, like I mentioned earlier, also known as the Dancing Plague, was a phenomenon that occurred mainly in Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries, although there are earlier recordings as well. So let me tell you about Dancing Mania. Here's just the characteristics. And from what I read about the certain stories of them, these don't apply to every story. Like, these are just some characteristics of dancing mania. So groups of people, up to tens of thousands, would dance for hours, days, weeks, or months. The dancers did not seem to be able to control themselves. They were often travelers from other places, although that was not always the case. However, sometimes the dancers traveled from place to place and others would join in and dance along the way. Kind of like the truckers' convoy, I guess. Pick up trucks along the way.
Interesting.
Some outbreaks of dancing mania included nudity.
Oh.
Quote, obscene gestures, which I did not read what those were, and sexual intercourse.
Wow.
Screaming, laughter, crying, hopping, singing, animalistic behaviors was how it was described. Some allegedly danced until they died of of injuries related to the dancing. So broke a rib, dead.
Well, back then it didn't take much.
No, it didn't. Like walking, sprained ankle, dead.
Yeah.
Have a cough in the morning, dead by noon.
You scratch your arm on some bark.
Paper cut,
dead.
Head falls off.
Yeah. Don't go to the dentist.
So dancers often bullied others into joining them. People who were onlookers. Some dancers bullied them into joining. Threatened with violence.
Wow.
Join us. We'll dance on your grave.
Wow.
I don't know what they said. Some dancers, I found this interesting. And I gotta say, though, a lot of the footnotes on this article were not readable. Like, they go to books, and I didn't have access to the books and stuff like that.
Okay.
So some dancers could allegedly not see the color red. Some acted violently upon seeing red. Dancers, quote, could not stand pointed shoes and enjoyed their feet being hit. I just think that's sensible, not liking pointed shoes.
Yeah.
I just call that common sense.
Yeah.
But it was something they dealt with. Now, this was allegedly contagious, often struck small groups or individuals, though, and then kind of grew or whatever.
Interesting.
So here's some examples of some incidents. So in the 1020s, modern-day Germany, 18 peasants began singing and dancing around a church, which disturbed their Christmas Eve service. This is like one of the earlier ones. I couldn't find a lot about it. In 1278, about 200 people were dancing on a bridge, made it collapse. Injuries, deaths. There's some later examples that are more recorded, have more historical records. So there was a widespread outbreak in the 1370s, allegedly started modern-day Germany, spread around mainland Europe to modern-day Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, and Italy. So just groups of people in the news dancing until they got so exhausted they died, essentially.
Wow.
In 1428, a monk reportedly danced to death in Switzerland. Now, this is one of the biggest outbreaks in 1518 in modern-day France. This one actually has its own Wikipedia page. In July 1518, a single woman, I don't know if she was single. I think it's just a woman. Okay. Not a single ladies.
White female?
Not all single ladies? No. One woman began dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. Now, between July and September, somewhere between 50 and 400 people also took to dancing in the streets. That's a big number discrepancy for me. 50 to 400. We don't know. This one's well documented. There are historical documents. There's doctor's notes. There's sermons. There's articles. There's notes from the Strasbourg City Council. Doctors began to intervene, put some of the dancers in hospitals. And there's been controversy over whether or not people died from this particular outbreak and how many. So some claim that it was killing around 15 people per day. But there were no sources at the time that mentioned deaths. This number was taken from later accounts.
Yeah.
So we're not really sure.
If there's 400 people and like 15 people, even if 10 people die a day, that's like a little over a month worth of dancing. It didn't go on for 10 years.
People kept joining.
And then we just die? Okay.
You just dance until you die. That's what they did. They caught Vanessa Hudgens' hit single, Sneaker Night.
Ooh.
They heard the beat. They said, basically what we're going to do is dance. That's the line from the hit single. Basically what we're going to do is dance. Look it up. Now, all of the sudden, this died out in the mid-17th century. Vanished. No more cases. The cause is unknown. It's not clear if it was a real illness or a social phenomenon, and there's no agreed upon reason as to why it happened. But there are several theories.
Okay.
So, in some of the outbreaks, victims were isolated, some were exorcised. Some believe it was a curse by Saint Vitus. I don't know if that's Vitus or Vitus, or Saint John the Baptist. And so they would pray and make pilgrimages.
John the Baptist?
I don't know. I guess he liked to boogie. I have no idea.
Dancing until his head fell off? I don't know.
Heads will roll.
Yeah.
Some claimed demonic or satanic possession, and exorcisms were sometimes performed on the dancers. So we've got some modern day hypotheses as well. These include, the chat may know this if they've watched any of my Nancy Drew Let's Play series, ergot poisoning. Do you know about ergot?
No.
Ergot is a fungi, which grows on rye and other crops. So you eat the contaminated rye, you get ergot poisoning. And so essentially that can cause a variety of symptoms, not limited to manic episodes, hallucinations, muscle spasms, shooting pain, and burning in the fingers and toes.
Oh.
So your feet on fire, you're dancing.
But wait, how do you get it?
Consuming contaminated things contaminated with ergot, which is most often rye, but other crops.
But it would have been people having to eat.
Yeah, don't worry. There's a lot of holes in the theories.
Okay.
Don't worry. There's no agreed on. So they look at, this was happening during a time. We'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. But ergot was around back then. People got ergot poisoning.
Okay.
Other theories: inflammation of the brain, epilepsy, typhus. But those also, like ergot poisoning, can't account for all of the symptoms together. They've also mentioned shared stress and a way to cope. What was life like back then?
Yeah.
Who were these people? Peasants. Your life is a nonstop cycle of hunger, overwork, no freedoms, disease, plague, natural disasters, flooding, just a nonstop cycle of those things.
Well, not only that, it's not the golden age of science and recorded history either. So maybe they're exaggerating what was happening.
Right. Well, and then they go to, so that ties into mass hysteria, the spread of the symptoms which is spread of symptoms where there's no infectious agent responsible for a contagion. So, but then there's also, perhaps it was staged. People heard of flash mobs.
Yeah.
You've seen those flash mob videos this is ancient flash mobs.
Yeah.
Now cult dancers were banned back then in a lot of places, but some are like, hey, this might be a way that they were able to perform their rituals and stuff disguised as dancing mania. But it seems that some may have been afflicted with something. Others joined in. This leads back to mass hysteria. So some were afflicted with something, but then others were joining in out of fear or just the need to belong or to copy the group. Mob mentality.
Yeah.
Someone starts something, everybody does it. A fad.
If a cool person does it, if a cool person gets whatever poison.
You had the influencers of the day.
Yeah.
The influencers, now they didn't have social media, so it was like Fred down at the pub.
But you see someone dancing.
You see Fred dancing, you know there's a party, and you know you better join in. They were this is the story of the first influencers, which it's one of those things where it was suddenly gone, you know, mid 17th century, gone. No one did it anymore. So that's Dancing Mania. That's sort of the situation of a weird thing that happened. A lot of people still discuss it today. Nobody really knows what it was. Was it something? I did read something so a lot of cases happened, like they were looking at the rivers, and there were like kind of two main rivers nearish to where a lot of the outbreaks started. But that doesn't mean there was something in the water necessarily.
Yeah.
When they talk about ergot, they talk about if your ergot poisoning's not lasting for months, you know, you don't have these symptoms for months. So it's interesting.
My hypothesis.
Oh, go on, sure.
Yeah. I've got two.
Please share.
One is that it's the earliest known case of Bieber fever.
You think they were believers?
Believers.
All the way back then?
All the way back then. Would have been.
It's interesting that you think of the music. So I was reading that sometimes music would be played because they thought it could cure it, but it often made it worse. People just danced to the music.
Yeah.
When you think about, I don't know what the hell music they were listening to back then. That might be a good Wikipedia article, because I think of like Renaissance fair stuff.
Yeah. But I'm surprised, when you see
rave
like
music.
The pictures of like even back in the 60s, back in the 50s when the Beatles or whatever, Elvis, and people are just freaking out and they're so excited.
Oh, climbing over their chairs and like screaming and like can't be consoled.
But I think people just of that kind of age and stuff. I don't remember doing that, but
this was all ages.
But just having, but people just get that kind of like energy, and it's like, are you really that excited about Twist and Shout? It's like, no, I think you just want to get worked up about something, and you're doing it. But I can't. But that it goes on for months at a time is what's.
Well, yeah. But when you think of festivals like Woodstock, that went on for, I don't even know, weeks.
Maybe they were doing drugs and they just figuring it out, They found acid or something and they were just all tripping.
But then where did it go?
They were like, well, we don't know. Or mushrooms. They could have been eating mushrooms.
I guess so. They could have been snacking on the mushrooms.
All kinds of stuff. Sounds, like druggy stuff.
Apparently, This Podcast Will Kill You has an excellent episode on the dancing plague. Oh. Ashley let us know in the chat. Oh. Which I didn't listen to. They probably got better info than I did.
Yeah, maybe.
I went strictly from the wiki, and I really tried to look at these sources, but a lot of them were either straight to books or like not accessible.
And this is Quickie Wiki what?
This is Quickie Wiki what? We encourage you to do your own research.
Let's be honest, we talk about the thing for like 10 minutes and then we just chat the rest of this.
Shelby just asked, can you take ergot recreationally? I don't. Ask your doctor if ergot is right for you. However, I think I was reading it's kind of close to LSD.
Oh, wow.
Like similar-ish to LSD.
Oh.
So maybe they were on that. We just don't know. We don't know.
Well, this is kind of reminds me though of another podcast that we listened to together once. The one where they have this theory that, consciousness, how it has shifted.
Oh no.
It has shifted over the course of...
Well, IQs allegedly go up like every generation.
But just like, we take it for granted. Like, I sit and I think, and I was like, oh, that's a flower. I need to do my laundry later. And that's how I think today. And that's how people throughout history have always thought. But Going way, way back. Like maybe people's just whole perception of the world is radically different than we don't understand that. And that could have had something to do with.
We were talking the other day about how we probably knew more information by the time we were in third grade about the world than the founding fathers.
Yeah.
I mean, big flops, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Big flops. We know we have more information in like the palm of our hand than like anybody did 100 years ago.
Galileo.
Encyclopedia's worth.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Flops.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia. Which is what we usually look up.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it.
There you have it.
Dancing fever. What song? What's your dancing? What's at the top of your dancing playlist, Justin?
Oh, wow. You go first.
Mine's probably a K-pop or J-pop. I have a playlist I listen to in the shower when you're not home.
Oh, okay.
That's got, you may know these in the chat. It's got some Red Velvet on it. It's got some Perfume. It's got, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, the classic Vanessa Hudgens single, Sneaker Night. Put your sneakers on. We're going to be dancing all night long. She really kicked off. She really brought back the movement, the dancing plague movement. It's got some, it does have some Stardew Valley on it. Stardew Valley's got some jams.
Yeah. Do the spin move to Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So mine, I would have to, thinking back, I used to be like a little dancer. Like I would do Michael Jackson dances.
Wow.
And back when I was, like 6, but then I kind of didn't stop doing it even like through high school and stuff like that. So like Michael Jackson comes on, that was like Beat It and Billie Jean. Those were like big ones. There's also, what was I going to say? I just had something else. Oh, I would do the Pee Wee Herman dance.
What's that?
That's the tequila where you go da 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 da.
Oh, where he's clapping in front and behind on the bar.
Yeah.
Justin made me watch that movie.
A couple times, right?
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And then I learned to do the Napoleon Dynamite dance, or at least kind of bullshit my way through it for one of my friend's weddings.
I have never seen Napoleon Dynamite.
It's good. I think you'd like it. It's just so quirky and weird. And
did you have talent shows?
We had a talent show that I remember.
Because you went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
I don't know about talent.
I'm trying to remember if I performed. I played the piano. I may have. You play great. But I would never really like playing in front of people. I like to kind of play for myself. But then I'm pretty sure the one who was they saved her for the finale. She sang, I think it was a Whitney Houston song, and just knocked it out of the park. And like she was in 8th grade, and she's like, "Oh, she's it's like when someone in your school does go to like a talent show.
Oh, you just know they're the star,
waiting for their Hollywood star, waiting.
I wouldn't even want to graduate. Just say, I'll get my GED. I'm going on American Idol. Go. I had a group of friends who always performed as the Spice Girls, lip sync to Spice Girls at the talent shows.
There's some dancing.
Well, and I was jealous I wasn't allowed to participate because I was a guy. So I was a boy. So I couldn't be one of the Spice Girls.
Oh, well, you couldn't be in the talent show at all?
I couldn't. Boys weren't allowed to be in the talent show.
What?
No, I wasn't. Well, they wouldn't let me be a Spice Girl.
Oh,
I couldn't be a
they
Spice
wouldn't let
Girl.
you be a Spice Girl?
I wanted to be Baby Spice because I'm baby. But I mean, meanwhile, like we were spending, it's the same group of friends that like we would always go to the mall and go to Claire's, and it was this was I don't know, 6th grade or somewhere around then. You get the Spice Girls candy at Claire's. It comes with stickers, and we put them all over our binder. And I was in the closet. No
one had a clue.
I don't think I ever did talent show, but we did have a similar thing in 4th grade called Star Days, but it was just in front of your class. And I performed the hit song. What's the song in Beauty and the Beast? Tale as old as time.
Angela Lansbury.
I performed Tale as old as time. Yes, Angela Lansbury. She sang with me because I sang over the words of it.
Duet with the Angela Lansbury.
I mean, you could say that I was the star of my class.
I think so.
No one ever knew. No one ever guessed. In the South, they just call you Squirrely. Okay, that's all I have for Dancing Fever. You got any last words for Friday the 13th?
Well, everyone have a safe and happy Friday the 13th.
Write down some good things that happened to you.
Write down good things that happen. How do they tell us? And we'll read them next time.
Okay, yeah, you can tweet them at us. We'll read some of your nice things that happened on Friday the 13th.
That sounds like such. And we'll make a tweet about it. Say, Friday the 13th gets a bad rap. We're going to change it. It's going to be good now.
And if you happen to find yourself unable to stop dancing, maybe exorcism is right for you. Find out.
You see, I think I was going to interrupt you. I will say this about that. If it worked, why didn't they just do it and cure everyone?
The exorcism?
Yeah.
I don't think it did.
There you go. That's kind of like
your doctor
saying,
if exorcism is right for you.
If your exorcist didn't work,
I think sometimes they just locked him in a room too.
Why mention it? You know, you're kind of, we tried to exorcise these people.
Well, they got to mention it in the article.
Well, I'm sure.
And they kept doing it. Who knows? Who knows?
If at first you don't succeed,
I think people just like exercising.
Again.
Their New Year's resolution, they said, I need to exercise more.
I need more exercise. Yeah.
And they misunderstood the whole assignment. Someone lied to them several times.
These silly geese.
They made several mistakes.
Silly geese.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. As usual, all this came from Wikipedia articles, but there's tons more information out there on these topics. Go check them out yourself. And thank you for listening to Quickie Wiki What. Once again, you'll be able to find this VOD of this episode on YouTube as well as the audio wherever you get your podcasts. We will be streaming next week's episode live again on twitch.tv/halfmoonjoe. So we will see you then with more wiki articles to discuss. Thank you for listening. Bye, guys.
Thank you.